Hi, College Now and Falcon Tech instructors. I'm here to talk to you today about the instructional design content that's inside D2L and also a little bit on feedback and grading. So let me show you where a few things are in D2L because some things have changed. So under FRCC resources, you'll notice there's a link to instructor resources. And if you click on this link, it takes you to things related to online instruction. And, we're transitioning to remote learning, which means we are teaching with online tools. But these sections are really, this section, I should say, is really devoted to instructors who are teaching true online courses. So probably not a lot of stuff here for you. I mean, there's a link to logging into your Front Range email account. And then there's some instructional design center information. When we click on that, it asks you to log in with your S number so you can see what kind of resources are there. I want to show you though, so let me close this browser tab, what has been added. And I think I've shown this in some other videos, but things are really starting to be compiled at this point. So for instructors, the new place where you can get a lot of help with your transition to remote learning is by clicking on Virtual Instructional Design Center. And then when you get to this page, it gives you the link to the Virtual Instructional Design Center, advice on moving your class to remote learning. Here's the link to all the tutorials that have always been available, but you see it's just a different link name for getting to those instructor tutorials, and then some other tools to connect with students. I want to show you also, let me close that browser tab and get back to this. The student tutorials are now under this, Introduction to D2L. So if your students are struggling with D2L next week when remote learning starts, this is where I would refer them, okay? And then I wanted to show you, I'm glad that I came out and I'm going to go back in. I wanted to show you Virtual Instructional Design Center. I want to show you a little bit about what's inside the Virtual Instructional Design Center, specifically that I've noticed has been added in the last day or two. So the discussion posts, I would check this out. And then I would also look under content. Let's look under content first, and then we'll go see what's on the discussion board related to giving feedback and grading specifically. So you'll notice there's a start here. There's all these different links for how to help students with self-care, messages from instructional coaches. So you might check a lot of this stuff out, how to give lectures and class, how to do lectures and class discussions. This is a discussion forum. So as with all learning management systems, there's a lot of redundancy in the way that it's set up. And I think you could learn a lot about how to set up your own D2L shell if you're using that with College Now or Falcon Tech instructors by looking at how this was set up. You can add links to all the things you need students to access on content. You can do the same on announcements. So I think I would pick one of those two and then do those quick links for students so they can find things. Let's go ahead and look at the discussion board. So remember, you can get to the discussion board from where I already am. That sounded funny, so I'm just repeating that. And then you can also go to discussions. So you can navigate D2L in so many different ways. And that might be something that gives you some insight in how you're setting up your D2L shell for your students too. So there's a forum on supporting each other. And then there's questions about teaching remotely. And you'll notice that folks are starting to add those questions. And there are moderators. I'm not one of them, but there are online instructor and instructional coach moderators who are answering and giving feedback. And then other instructors who are just practiced at this, giving lots of ideas too. So I would check all of this out. And I know that at this time, it seems like there's just so much information there is. But I think these really practical discussion board posts give a lot of advice about how to do things, how to navigate things, how to teach your students to navigate things inside your learning management system. And then I wanted to show you one post that I was really glad to see. So give me a second to find it. You see all these different forums. This is the one, so I'm sorry, all these 2 forums, and there's lots of different topics. I should get my language straight there. This topic caught my eye this morning, and there's not a lot of comments here yet. I'm going to enter the topic by clicking there. Again, I want to remind you that you might want to do some of these videos for your students as you're teaching them how to navigate your D2L or your Schoology or your Google Classroom's learning management system in the first week. Because if you haven't been using it with students the way you plan to use it next week, they won't know how to find things. And so having some kind of tour video to walk them through everything is a really great idea. So you'll notice that Shannon Seal posted some ideas about how to give feedback in a quiz tool. She sets the quiz to indicate which are correct and incorrect. She allows the students to retake a quiz multiple times. And this is a great strategy for ensuring that students learn content instead of being tested and making it a punitive experience. They're allowed to retake as many times as necessary to ensure that they are retaining the information, making corrections, learning from the errors, making corrections, and then moving forward with the content because they've, revisited the ones that they didn't get correct the first time. So this is an idea, and I am just calling this to your attention because, first of all, the quiz is doing both kinds of, for lack of a better word, quote unquote grading. It's giving feedback, which is more the assessment side of grading, right? Where have you gone off track a little bit? Where have you shown your strengths? Where can you improve? And then the quiz itself is worth a certain number of points, I assume, so that's the grade portion. So make sure that you're setting up a system for providing students both the points that they earn and then the feedback that gives them information on their learning, on how that's working for them so that they're getting that assessment side of the grading exchange, for lack of a better word there. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about where to find information about moving your classes to remote learning. There's so much here. I'm just going to very quickly, before I stop the video, just go back to discussions one more time just to show you the 2 forums. So there's the forum called Supporting Each Other, and it looked like there were 2 topics inside that forum, and then there's a second forum called Communicating with Students, and there were 3 topics here where you could find information. So lots of good info from lots of experienced teachers just like you, but if you're struggling and need more ideas, this is where you can go to get some. All right, take care. Hope you're doing well.